We're back. Welcome back to Boob Tube. It is Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on EXXXOTICA.tv. And of course, it's not Boob Tube without my beautiful co-hosts, Casey Carter and Desiree, Desirable Bottom. Hey, ladies.
Hey.
Dang, Desiree. You sound like you had to show for your job. You're like, hey. Just kidding. Hey guys, welcome back. If you're returning to our channel, 5 years we've been on this mug. We're so excited to celebrate half a decade. If you're new here, hi, I am Kari Anthony, and
I'm Casey
co-host
Carter.
And I'm Desirable Desiree Bottom.
And we're the Powerpuff Girls. No, I'm kidding. We are here talking about what's on your boob tube, whether you're streaming something on Hulu, Netflix, Amazon Prime, or one of the millions of streaming channels, or you're watching things on an actual television with like actual cable, which I can't imagine. I haven't had cable in years, but
I haven't either.
And I haven't been to the theater in a hot second. I wanted to go see Sinners, but
Girl, you need to go do that. And now I was going to say, when you said you haven't been in years, I've gone lately, and literally Sinners was the last thing I went to see. So,
yeah, I think the last thing that I went to see was before the pandemic. I don't know that I've been.
Kari.
To be honest with you, I can't even tell you the last thing I saw at the theater.
Okay, that is your job. In the next 60 days, you need to find something to go see.
Well, I need to go see Sinners. That's what I need to go see. What about you, Desiree?
Something, but you got 60 days to get her done. Damn,
y'all. This chick hasn't seen not one damn episode of Raising Kanan in several months, and she got the audacity with the balls.
Because I don't have stars. I don't have.
Okay, but stars is cheaper than going to the movies.
Girl, I don't pay for none of the shit I watch on TV.
Do you pay to go to the movies?
How many times have I said that?
Do you pay to go to the movies?
Not really.
Bye. That ends our show today. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys next week. Just kidding.
Like, I personally don't pay. No.
Well, I mean, but somebody's spending money, right?
Mm-hmm.
See how sassy she is with me, y'all?
Stop it, girl. Stop that.
I'm just playing. Y'all know I ain't sensitive like that.
So, Kari, tell us, because we didn't do the show. We didn't do it. I don't know why we didn't do it the week before or whatever. But you were in Miami for XBiz. Tell us all about it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So one of the days I was traveling, and then the other day, no, I was at the show, and then the other week I was still in Miami and just didn't want to stop what I was doing to get on Boob Tube. Sorry, y'all. Love you.
No.
But girl was on vacation.
No,
and
do not apologize for enjoying yourself.
It's not something I do often, and I was working, so it's not like I was just on vacation. But
Kari, I don't give a fuck if you were just on vacation. Okay, sometimes we do things for ourselves, so don't.
Not often.
Don't qualify it by saying no. I was working. I don't care if you were sunbathing the whole time with your fingers up your nose. Good for you.
I was sunbathing, but I did not have my fingers up my nose.
And I said sunbathing on purpose because I knew you were sunbathing.
I sure was. I went to the nude beach twice.
Ooh.
I still have tan lines. Like, Ghost was like, what? Actually thought it was kind of hot, but he didn't want to admit it. But because he doesn't want me to like get accustomed to going out and getting sun all the time. I've never been in a tanning bed. I'm 50 years old and I've never been in a tanning bed. Mm-hmm. The only sun that I've gotten has been natural. Not to say that that's any worse or better, but just saying, like, I'm not going to the tanning bed 3-4 times a week. No. Not that there's anything wrong with it. For those that do it, more power to you. I am very fair skinned, and that would be like me sticking my hand on an open flame.
That is pretty aggressive.
I burn very quickly. So I got burnt even with SPF sunblock on. So Went to
Wow.
Miami.
Okay.
I stayed at my girlfriend's house and we did XBiz. It was extremely what's phenomenal, amazing, awesome. I was put into a different format or like a different frame of mind. And so my perspective changed on a lot of things. And I just saw myself through a different lens. And
Mm-hmm.
it was a very much needed, like I went through all that healing and did all the things that I did in 2024. And I've been going for 2025. We're now on month 6. And it finally dawned on me what that weight is that keeps me from reaching that next level. And so that for me just was a game changer, a life changing experience. Now, XBiz did not provide this, but the people at XBiz, the other performers and the business people, and seeing Ella, love Ella,
Love Ella.
love Ella. And just situations where like people that I had spoken to on the phone previously about potentially doing business, just going up and being like, hey, I'm Kari. It's great to finally meet you face to face. I had no intentions. I wasn't trying to solicit them for work. I was just literally like, hey, we've talked on the phone a few times. Just figured you could put a face to a name. And that turned out to be like a major, plus plus, because then they called me back and was like, hey, let's work together. And it was like, what? So, kind, thoughtful gestures. Also, remaining professional in situations where you're being taunted to be unprofessional and other people noticing it was a huge, I was unfazed. I'm in this, like you were saying earlier, Casey, while we were in the green room, and you get to this stage of your life where you just don't give a fuck anymore. And that's where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at that stage in my life where it's like I'm unfazed, unbothered, unconcerned. Do you, boo? Do you?
I
You
actually um so you all know we talk about this all the time. We have a lot of meaningful conversation in the green room prior to getting on the show. It's literally that moment that we connect with each other. Um and we're often very transparent about what's going on with ourselves, because Desiree likes to point out from time to time how if one of us is not at 100%, the rest of us will pick that person up and get them to where they need to be. And so
yes.
that's often what we're doing when we're in the green room. And it's I gotta be honest, women have the worst reputation for trashing each other. And in
True.
those few
True.
minutes that we're in that space, it's always really very, very nice because we literally ask each other, how you doing?
How you
What's
doing?
going on? Whatever. And so we're feeling each other out before the show starts so that we know how to support one another during the show. And I think it's really an awesome, that's probably my favorite part about the whole
Oh.
show, is in that
Mine too.
moment that you all don't see us and what we're doing
Mm-hmm.
for each other, so that when you do see us, it's all good. But during that time today, I was talking about what it's like to transition from being the young 20, 30 something to that 40 something, that 50 something, because my birthday is June 16th. Birthday is June 16th. And I'll be
Her
56.
birthday's June 16th, y'all.
Thank you, Carrie. I don't think they heard me. So
Well,
so
if they didn't, they're going to hear it again.
I'll be 56 on my birthday. And I've noticed that, as Carrie mentioned about the not really giving up, as I've gone from 40 to 50, that I don't give a, it grows in intensity. And you build a certain level of confidence where you
Don't
genuinely don't care what
give.
other people think,
Mm-hmm.
because you are living and loving your life, and you're doing whatever you can to live your best life, because the reality is when you get to 50, the the the, the clock starts ticking in a different way. And as someone pointed out to me, you don't have as much time to live your best life as you did in the first 50. So in that last 50, you just got to be like,
Hits.
fuck the world. I'm doing me. You do you. I'm gonna do me. And
Yeah.
so, Kari
I love
shared
it.
she shared some of her Miami experience with us, and the epiphanies and the encouragements and all of that. And like I said, in that time when we're together, we do a lot to encourage each other. And so, it was great to hear her have that epiphany moment, to be able to say to her, no matter what, we're here for you, whatever you need, whatever you got to do to get to wherever it is you're going. We support you.
Stick with it. Yeah.
Yeah, we support you in that. I mean, because honestly, we really, I mean, any one of us could say, do the show by ourselves, or any
But
two of us
yeah.
could do the show, right? But it's not boob tube, as Kari often says, without the three of us. Like, it's a different show if it's not the three of us, which is why if one of us isn't available, that's why you don't get the show, right? Because
Facts.
it's the three of us. And that's another thing that I have to be honest that I love, that if one of us says, I'm not good, or I'm out of town, or whatever, there is no grudge held. We're like, okay, see you next week.
Yeah. Or it's not, well, we're going to do the show without you. And then you
Right.
feel like
No.
FOMO. And then you put
Yeah.
yourself in a situation where you're like, well, how am I going to, do I need to be somewhere where it's quiet? Do I have
Nope.
internet? Like,
Mm-mm.
you start it, like, we just
Mm-mm.
literally are like, okay, well, next week, no problem. Or
Right.
the week after,
Mhm.
we'll get there when we get there.
Whatever
And
it is.
also, Exotica Jay is also very understanding. He doesn't text us and be like, why are y'all not
show?
live?
Right?
He don't ever access.
Yeah.
So, we have a really, really unique and very
We match
positive
well.
situation. Yeah, we have a very good situation here. And so but that's the dynamic that keeps this show alive. And the fans, you guys, you watching also are what makes this possible. So if we don't tell you enough, we'll tell you again tonight how much we appreciate and love, and are very humbled by your support, and you guys coming every week. Jason, we love to see you every week, and all the other people that come every week, we love to see. If you're in here, please leave us a comment so we can shout you out and let everybody else know that you're here all the time, that we love you. So yeah, it's a great experience. And we see a lot of shows like The View, The Talk, and they constantly are changing cast members, right?
Yeah.
And we've been doing this for 5 years, and it's like, if one of us leaves, the show is done. It's not, I'm going to do it without you. Yeah, it's just not the same show anymore. And it's like, I appreciate, and we have like a really good relationship with each other. It's not anything where someone's trying to be the bigger star or whatever. Like, we're just all here as
together.
Regular schmegular.
To vibe. Yeah.
We're regular schmegulars. So,
and
I love that.
That's what I was gonna say. I think that's a part of the appeal, is like what you all as viewers get of us in this moment is based on all of what Kari just said. Like, we genuinely support one another. Again, if somebody says, I can't do it this week, we all go, see you next week. And truly, when I tell you truly, nobody's going, fuck that bitch, we're gonna do the show anyway. There is none of that. You know what I'm saying? Because
I'm not going to lose Miami.
Last week when Kari was like, I may be able to, I was like, girl, please, no, don't even. The fact that you say I may be able to, like, this is what I'm thinking. When you say I may be able to, no. If you don't feel you can fully commit, don't try and make it work. You good? We good? We good? So
yeah.
So yeah, so we we're babbling on about this because, again, a lot of this is because we love having you on the show, and we want you all to have the best version of us. And we're only going to want to bring you the best version of us. And if that means we're not coming,
Mhm.
we just ain't coming. But we'll be back. We promise.
Yep.
We'll be back. So there you go.
So let's take a moment to read the comments because there's an interesting conversation happening right now. Lacey, Aoki, and Whitney are conversing. This is Lacey's first time on the show. Hello, Lacey. Welcome. We hope that you subscribe, like, comment, share, and come back for more. But Whitney, what is so funny, because you're in the comments laughing, but let's just take a moment also to acknowledge Andrea Balora, of course, Jason, Beast Mode was in here, Akash, and of course, Whitney and Rico Richards. What's up? So Rico Richards is a part of a link site called Hubster. And if you are an adult performer, you want to go to hubster.co. I had to think of the link. You want to go to hubster.co because, just real quickly, I don't want to go into too much technical and turn this into a commercial, but for adult performers, if you're in a social media site and you have Linktree, for instance, in your bio, and they click on Linktree, you think that they're taking you out of Instagram and into another browser on your phone or computer. But it's not. It's staying in the Instagram browser. So if your client clicks, or the person clicks on the next link, which is OF, Instagram is now aware that you are sending traffic to an adult website. So Hubster has come up with a clever way of removing the browser out of the Instagram. So when you click on the Hubster profile, it's already taken the person out of the Instagram browser or whatever social media browser. Okay. So that's just one of the things that makes it very special. If you go sign up for a Hubster account, let them know that we sent you, BoobTube. And they have some really affordable advertising options right now. So you can get your really cool, they design the banner for you, and they'll put your banner up there. You can get some traffic. They send a mass message to their 175,000 fan database. And so it's a good site that I know the guy, we've talked quite a few times at length. And, I'm all looking for resources and tools to help our community. I think it's important for non-adult content creators as well, because one of the ways that these sites get your, what is it called? Advertising preferences, things that you're searching for, is because when you search in the browser, so let's say you see an Amazon thing on Instagram algorithm, like on your page, right? You click on it and you're like, oh, that's really cool. Instagram now knows what you're looking at, what interests you. So for me, I've been looking at stuff for my office. I want to get the table or that like thing that you put on your desk and you put your monitor on it, and it's got like the charging station on it and like a bunch of USB things, and it's like $79. Okay. But now, good old Instagram is sending me every 3 posts. They're trying to send me shit for my office. Now, mind you, this shit's expensive. I am going to spend so much money because of Instagram. So if you're just a regular person and you don't want these social sites to know what you're browsing, or you don't want, the people that are clicking on your links to know what you're, to get their stuff in the browser, then go to Hubster. So enough of that. We need to talk about some TV.
I get the Temu stuff all the time.
Me too. And Temu blows up my emails. Like, they send 6 mails a day, minimally.
Yeah, and
even Shein's not sending
as much.
in
my texts as well. So
text, browser,
fucking
the little pop-up boxes,
stalkers,
where it's like $200 off your next order.
But you gotta jump through hoops now. And don't get me wrong, I am not gonna lie. Yeah, they got my money. They did. And they've got my money a few times. And I've only returned something once. And it, because everything you buy is from a an individual vendor or whatever. That was the reason why I ended up returning what I returned, because it just the quality wasn't that good. But yeah, they got my money. Ain't gonna lie. Ain't gonna lie. They got my money. But anyway,
What did they get your money for? What'd you buy?
Oh, girl, I bought a lot of stuff.
Oh
Did
my
you see the
gosh.
new the AI thing where it's like, I'm trying to find it, but if I find this thing, is this real?
It's a
What is it?
I
gimbal
want to
with
get
a
one.
screen.
Oh, is that what?
Yeah,
is that what
I want to get one.
Get
Is
one.
it working though? Yeah, but is it legit or is it fake?
How much is it?
I don't know. There's only one way to find out.
That's what I was gonna say. How much is it? Get it and let us know.
I don't know. I'd have to check.
All right, we'll get it and let us know. Shoot.
Well, let's start
Or like
talking
this one.
about.
Okay.
Oh gosh,
Here
stop,
we are
Desiree.
now all shopping
See?
together.
See what happens?
That's cool.
Yes, it's a gimbal.
Yeah, that's better. That's more like something that I want. Yeah.
So get
we'll
that
see.
one.
Mm.
Rico says legit. Rico Ricardo says legit.
Okay, Christopher Gagliardi's in the chat. He says,
Hey,
"Oh, holy shit! Somebody document this on a calendar." He got my name right.
Wait,
I'm not
he got
BBW
my
Platinum
name
Pussy
right.
anymore.
He got
What
my
about
name
this one?
right.
Casey during the day. Get off of Temu.
Casey,
This looks good though. Look at this. This looks cool though.
It's a
Okay,
$600.
This is a whole
touchable
nother
package.
show, Desiree. That's a whole nother show. Shopping with Desiree is a whole nother show.
Thursdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can shop with Desiree. Look at your favorite technical cam gear mega store.
Because look,
Not
I can go down
sponsored.
that rabbit hole. I'm gonna tell you right
Not
now.
sponsored,
I
by the
ordered
way.
way too much stuff for Exotica for my birthday. I ordered. I'm not even gonna say it because we are almost halfway through this show and we ain't talked about it.
And we still haven't talked about
movie, or nothing.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay. I didn't make a list. I normally make a list. I didn't make a list. I'm mad. Whoa.
Check it twice.
Okay,
Check
so
it
Kari,
twice.
you start talking and then I'll make a list.
So bossy today. I'm just kidding.
No,
Okay,
here's
so
wait, here's what's funny. So one of my friends said the same thing. What the fuck did I say? I didn't
Okay.
do anything. But go ahead.
I got a
baby.
couple of things I want to talk about first.
Okay.
Two. So I'm gonna take two and then you guys can take over. Because
Go
I
ahead.
want to talk about Mobland. Y'all, Mobland is mobbing. It is so good.
Did you say Mobland is mobbing?
It's mobbing. Like, it was good and then it just got better. And the ending, like, not the ending, but like the season finale, because I'm pretty sure that was the last episode.
Okay.
Also, Raising Kanan, last one. You finally did the pew pew. Oh, yeah.
Wait, did you
Spoiler
just say
alert.
the pew pew?
I did. Kanan, pew pew,
I
his
didn't-
mama.
He did?
I didn't get to catch up. I
I just got up for you. Kanan, pew pew, his mama.
I'm gonna have to find somebody's TV to watch that on.
I'm telling you, you got to go watch it. And sadly,
I'm gonna watch it.
what she was accused of it wasn't her. It was mom and pops. But
Oh,
they,
that couple?
the ones that
Yeah.
they dress alike, mom and pop.
No.
So, yeah, they killed the girlfriend. They killed Fane. They killed the little short guy, the
They
little
killed
person.
Famous?
They killed
Yeah.
Famous.
Because they wanted, he was a problem for them, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The girlfriend was a problem too because, without getting too much into it, she basically was telling mom, or whatever her name is, that she didn't think that Rock was responsible for Fame's death. And so, being that they were responsible, they were like, yeah, she's a liability. She got to go. So they took her out
they
too.
can't allow her to create a shadow of a doubt.
But Mobland, what? So Maeve, this last episode had me just like mind blown. So Maeve, who is the manipulative mother, okay, who was manipulating, who was manipulating the grandson Eddie. Turns out he's not the grandson. He's the son of Conrad. So him and the son's wife had an affair, created Eddie, and so now grandma's over here like thinking that they're gonna be the king and queen of this. It's so bizarre. You got to watch it. It
Oh
is
God.
like
I'm gonna have to
it
find
is
time to
like
binge that.
you know how we've talked about in the past that whole like motherly like moms and sons that are like too close, like there's this like weird
Yeah.
incestual type. That's it's weird. So anyways, so there's that.
Mhm.
But what I really really want to talk about is there's a new show called Sirens, and it was fucking good. It was fucking good. So Sirens stars Kevin Bacon, Julianne Moore, and the girl from, was she the one from Dragon? Game of
That's her.
Thrones. Yeah, the
Yeah,
second, the knock, not the knockoff, but
the
the
Game of Game of, whatever the Dragons was.
I want to say How to
of
Train a Dragon.
House of
House
Dragons.
of Dragons.
House
That's
of
it. So the girl
Dragons.
that played Rhaenyra, right? That's her
Mhm.
name, Rhaenyra. When she was younger, is the girl that plays the sister, and then the older sister is this like fuck up, like she's a drunk and she's sleeps with everybody. She's just like a hot mess. And so, anyways, long story short, she goes to visit the sister who hasn't been home, doesn't really know the condition of the father, doesn't really care, doesn't return text messages, is basically disconnected. And when the sister gets there, she finds that her sister, the House of Dragons girl, is a completely different person. Like she is a total fraud. She's out here playing like she's, high society, okay, and she's like the assistant to this high upper echelon woman. And all I'm going to say is you've got to watch it, because if you've never seen messy, on the edge, waiting to find out like who does what, it's not like a murder thing per se, but the way that they created the suspense in this show was absolutely brilliant.
Right down to the very end
And
of the show, because when when it without, if you haven't seen it, I'm not gonna spoiler alert it because I love this do the spoiler alert.
now you're
But
not going to spoiler alert. Yeah, but you're
no,
right.
I'm not gonna
It's
do it. But like right in the moment where you think, oh, she fucked, you're like, wait, what? What? And it has you thinking, because at least for me, because I talked to Lorenzo into watching it, and so for me, he's like, well, I can see this, that. I'm like, no, 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 no. Here's what happened, and like, rarely do I find myself building scenarios and potential, you know, second season or third season or whatever. I don't do it often, but this definitely had me going, okay, so here's what that meant. And then this is what that was. And then, because there's so many, as the story progresses, there's so much revealed about the history of the people in the story that you're like, what the fuck is going on here? Who are these people and what's going on? So, like Kari mentioned earlier about the older sister being this fuck up. And the truth of the matter is, she is, but actually, before she became the fuck up, she was the extremely responsible, take care of my sister, step in and, put my life on hold so I can take care of her. Like, and in doing so, in sacrificing her life for the sister, so that the sister could go to Yale and have everything. She, as Kari mentioned, like when the show starts, she's coming out of jail for DUI, whatever, whatever. In less than 24 hours, she fucks 3 different guys. I mean, you're like,
yeah.
who are these
Damn,
people?
girl.
So yeah, it is literally one of those things where you have to watch every episode, because every episode explains a little bit more about these people, where you ultimately, by the end of the season, realize they're not who I thought they were from the first episode.
Mm.
So it was good. It was very good.
It was real good.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just wanted to share that because I haven't sat down and watched something from beginning to end in a while.
So
It's
you
been a
binged
while.
it?
I binged it.
Yeah,
I
I
couldn't
did
stop
too.
watching it. I
Nice.
couldn't stop watching it. I was afraid I was gonna miss something.
Yeah, I binged
So
it as
good.
well. So
Do
and
it.
it's really worth binging, to be honest.
It is.
Yes, Lacey, you have to watch this now. Yes, I agree.
Yes.
Okay, so I have been watching on Apple TV something called Neighbors and Friends with John Hamm. So let me just first say I didn't watch the show he was on originally that kind of sort of brought him into fame recognition. The advertising show, what was it? Mad Men. I didn't watch that. I still haven't watched that show. I have become a fan since he got out of that and started doing other things. To be quite honest, I kind of find him a little bit sexy in that dad
Ooh.
sort of way. I find him sassy.
Oh, Casey out here in them streets.
Mm. Um. So sorry, I just was
Back to us,
envisioning. I
Casey.
was gonna say I
Back
was
to us.
envisioning running into John Hamm at a bar somewhere in Atlanta, like, "Hey, boo." Okay, so anyway, Neighbors and Friends, Apple TV. So Neighbors and Friends is interesting. John Hamm is the star. Um, and there's other people, that are like B, D list actors or whatever. But the premise about the story is John Hamm is this big time investor, money guy. He literally loses his job in the first episode because he had an intimate experience with a young woman who worked for the company, and it got found out by the president, CEO, or whatever. And they used that um, as a means of firing him. And spoiler alert, dude resorts to robbing his neighbors and friends in order to put money in his pocket. And he
Damn.
hooks up with a
Rootless.
woman who cleans houses for the neighbors and friends. And it's really, really interesting um, because they maintain this stereotype of it, when you're on top of the world, everybody loves you, and when you fall from the top of the mountain, they don't want to quite know you. And so I'm not going to reveal why he fell, because why he fell isn't even about him losing his job. There's another thing that happened
Mm.
that caused him disgrace in the community. But it's interesting, this, and even he talks about the John Hamm character talks about, it's interesting when you're in that level of society, and the $100,000 a year country club member, the private tennis lesson so I can get into Princeton, the
Mm.
housekeeper, luxury automobile, $1 million home, or whatever. When you're at that level of society, and I'm not necessarily talking like celebrity famous level, just people, wealthy people with money. And he talks about the fact that they're not really wealthy, they're rich until. And if you know anything about money, being rich and being wealthy are two
Two
different
different
things.
things.
Wealth is
True.
generational, rich is you personally, right here, right now, and that shit can be gone tomorrow. And so that's where
Oof.
he was at. He was rich one day and broke as fuck
Broke the
the
next.
next.
Woof. That's
And
gotta hurt.
right, and it showed you
Mm.
what people are willing to do and the situations they're willing to allow themselves to be in just to maintain the facade that they live. It was really, really, really good. I really enjoyed watching it. And this wasn't something, well, now you can binge it because all the episodes are out, but I had to literally wait every week. These bitches had the audacity to put new episodes out one at a time. Pissed me the fuck off.
Mhm.
So, and it's funny because I think the episodes were coming out on Friday. So over the weekend, I would watch the episode, and somewhere in the middle of the week, I'd be like, "Oh shoot, it ain't Friday yet." But they're all out now, so I definitely encourage you to watch Friends, Neighbors, and Friends, because it was quite interesting, quite, and I think it also shows you don't have to be poor to find yourself doing some sketchy things to live your life. You can just not have and be put in that predicament of trying to maintain, and you'll find yourself doing some sketchy things. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
True.
Desiree?
So, I watched Sinners too, as well. That's what I mean.
Okay.
So, but the thing that I didn't get, like, I understood kind of the story, but the whole vampire thing, I was kind of like, eh. Like, that kind of threw me off a bit. I'm just saying. But the show is good, and Michael B. Jordan is like,
Super fine.
Wait, hold on. Where's my sound
yeah.
effects? We don't ever use the sound effects. Give me a second to find it. Hold on. Let me.
That's why.
Where's it at?
That's okay.
Oh, here it is. Here it is. Here it is.
Smash.
There we go. Smash. Okay.
I miss
Sorry.
that, Miss
Yeah.
Kitty.
So it was so good. That vampire thing threw me off. That's it. So, but I recommend it. Go check it out. No hate towards it.
Why did the vampire part throw you off?
Because I didn't like. I don't know. I think it was the story. Like I was following along. You know what I mean? Because I feel like if you don't pay attention, then you won't get it. And it kind of threw me off a little bit. And then I think that's the vampire thing kind of confused me a bit. Because I didn't like. I think this story was like. It was part of like what, like New Orleans, and then it's like, don't they have like their? I don't even know what to call it. There's a term that I'm looking for, but I can't find the term. It's like they're not wives' tale, like you know what I mean? It's like culturistic, but it's not. It's like voodoo and all that stuff. Like they have their own culture, their own. You know what I mean?
I do. I don't think it was
So
New Orleans, but it was the deep
okay,
South.
the South, yeah,
And
yeah.
but no, you're right that certain parts of the South have
My bad, yeah. I'm
folklore
uneducated, sorry.
or whatever in terms of things that are
Culture?
germane to that area. Like, so I know what point you're trying to make about that. Like when you
Okay.
reference, New Orleans or whatever, because there are things that are sort of germane to that area. But yeah, it was. So I'm gonna be honest. I went to see it because I found out it was a vampire movie. Up until that point,
Okay.
I didn't want to see it because I'm like, I don't want to see a movie in which black people are still struggling, even if it is Michael B. motherfucking sexy Jordan. I didn't want to see that where they were still oppressed in that era
Right.
of because remember they were from that southern town, but they had gone up to Chicago to live their best life, as we say, and ended up coming back. And everything in that movie happens. The majority of that movie happens in a 24-hour period. So, like, literally, the movie starts, and now I'm not gonna say when it ends, but it starts, and literally, let's say the movie's 2 hours long. literally 1 hour and 50 minutes of that movie is a 24-hour period.
Yeah.
So a lot happens in that time frame, but yeah, it was a very good movie. Very, very good movie. And again, I went because I found out, oh wait, it's a vampire movie? Oh well, now I'm interested. Now I'm interested because I'm sort of geeky for vampire movies, not zombies. I don't do zombies. Well, I watch zombie movies. You're not gonna get me to go to a zombie movie, but I will go to a vampire movie. So, yeah.
So that Handmaid's Tale I watched, but I'm still like 4 episodes before I complete the last season of season 6. So it's been good though. So they want to kill the commanders. Like they want to like bomb them up. They want to like destroy the whole thing in Gilead. Like all of their, yeah, like bombing. I'm talking about like they're executing a plan to like take them out of the freaking universe. It's insane. So it's getting juicy. It's getting juicy. So I'm gonna finish it up this week, and then next week I'll report back in.
Very good. Thank
you. Thank you. We appreciate you reporting back in. Oh, so what else? Okay, did we talk about? I think we did the 4 seasons.
Maybe. I probably did because I watched it when it first came out. But what you got on that, Kari? Did you just get around to it?
Yeah.
No shade.
No shade. Laid on my homework. The dog ate it.
I ain't done.
I don't have a dog,
so it's all good.
The neighbor's dog ate it. Yeah, it was good. It was good. It was an interesting show. Tina Fey, the guy from The Office, some other people. And yeah, it was interesting, like these couples, you know, because it was interesting for me because I never imagined, even though I always fantasized, but I never imagined I was going to be in this like long-term relationship and reach that level of like, do I really want to be with this person anymore? And now that I'm in this relationship that we're celebrating 11, going on 12 years, for me, it's like, wait a minute, could that be us? Mm-hmm. So now it's like, wait a minute, this interests me because here, you know, she has no idea that their marriage is falling apart. He has mentally moved on. He's been gone.
Oh dear.
And, you know, and you see how it changes the dynamic of the friendship. The friend circle. Yeah. And she became the odd person out, even though she technically, I feel like the person who cheats should be the person who has to leave the friend circle. That's just my opinion. But that's not what happened. Right. He got to stay, and then they had to, you know, basically accommodate the new girlfriend, and it was weird and awkward, and you know, it was an interesting show. Just kind of watch. We don't have a friend dynamic like that. Like my friends are my friends, his friends are his friends, and the most that we interact is like I don't go to events, or like he goes to his barbecues and his parties and family stuff, and then I go and I do my stuff. And now he does go to some of my family stuff, right? But yeah, it's and a lot of people think I'm weird because I don't want to. And I'll give you just a quick reason why. I do the adult stuff. I don't like being in situations where I feel like I either have to lie, which I don't lie. Like, obviously, I do photography. I do website. Like, I'm not lying, but
you don't want to have to put in that experience of people being judgmental.
Yes. Well, here's what he's afraid of. He's afraid that they might already know me because his cousins are perverts. So they know every porn star that comes to town. They know everything. So he's more concerned about being in an environment where a cousin is like, oh, that's so-and-so. And now the whole family is like, what? Right. So we've come to the conclusion, and I don't want to be in that situation because his family's religious. You know, they go to church and stuff. So my family, they all know what I do. So there's no discomfort there. So we've just decided that's the best thing for us. Right. So we don't have that friend circle of, we're going to barbecues
Awkwardness.
together and vacations and whatnot. So
Mhm.
I'm not worried about the friend circle, but I did take notes of like people that have been together for 20 plus years and being in this place of like they're tired of each other, and I just
Right.
hope that doesn't happen. So that's what I took the takeaway from that situation is like, and also remembering being younger and having friendship circles and being in situations where someone introduces like the new partner and you're like,
Mhm.
but then again, also being in a situation where you're hopeful that they're not because some of those people are toxic. So sometimes you're like, oh, I hope these people don't fight.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you've all been in a situation where you go somewhere and then the couple always get into a
Right.
fight. Always.
Mm.
Never fucking fails. The steak is not done enough.
But you said one of the things that you said that I thought about because I watched it when it first came out because I remember watching the original movie. But you made mention of the fact that they chose him, the husband who cheated, or decided to leave the wife over the wife. And what sucks is the husband had alluded to not being happy to their friends because they were doing these annual activities together,
Events.
and the wife on the other hand was oblivious to the fact that he wasn't happy and planned a like a recommitment ceremony at their house with all their friends and family, and at that moment decided this might be a good time to tell her I'm not down with this. And I think what was interesting, going to your point about they chose him over her, I was thinking, I wonder if they ultimately chose him over her because it was easier to deal with him in that couple scenario than to deal with
Okay.
her in her singlehood because they were all
Hmm.
still coupled up and they still were doing these couples trips together. So it
Right.
was like, all right, well, we'll go with him and the girlfriend versus going with her and no
By
partner
herself.
and she's hyper depressed and
Right.
all of that. I got
And then you feel like you can't be happy in front of her because, she's going through that whole like couple suck shit.
right,
Yeah.
right. That was,
Which
I mean, that
sucks
was
because
what
she
I
needed
thought
them
about that
more
because
than he did. You know what I mean?
yeah, because I mean, I thought about the fact that they chose him because I'm kind of with you. Like, I feel, I sort of feel like the one who fucks up needs to get kicked out. Like, they need to get kicked off the
Hmm.
island.
You
Bring
got a
your
girlfriend.
crutch.
She got nobody. And so she lost all the way across the
She
board. She
lost
lost the friends.
everybody.
Even though they were still friends with her, she lost the whole group of people and the husband.
Mm-hmm.
So like she just got completely kicked to the curb. And I felt like
Right,
that was really unfair.
right.
Because she didn't
But
do anything wrong.
But at the same time,
Mm.
when they went on that next group trip, stalker that she became shows up on the group trip solo, and the gay couple who I absolutely loved their story.
Yes.
Um,
Happy Pride Month.
Happy Pride Month.
Happy Pride.
They clearly, or at least one of the two of them, clearly had maintained a relationship with her so that when they needed to escape, they ain't waste no time calling her and be like, girl, we on the way over.
Right.
Mm.
So, I thought that was interesting too, that while they maintained their tradition of going on these couples trip, when the shit hit the fan, they were like, all right, deuces, we're going to go over there. And I think, she was so wanting the dish. She was like, yeah, sure. Come on
Come
over.
on
Tell
in.
me all about it.
She was lonely.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But
Like she was having FOMO. Like she had
Mm.
nothing. They
mhm.
took like it literally took everything away from her.
Yeah. But I also, though, Kari, going back to the conversation that you and I were having about the aging woman, she did have that moment where she thought that young hottie was flirting with her, and she was prepared to lean in to
And
that
get some
flirtation. And I'm gonna say
yes.
this: I gave her credit for not just mentally choosing to lean into it, but for actively trying to lean into it. But my heart was
Yes.
broken when old boy really wasn't that interested. I was very upset for her on that because it really took a lot out of her to
Yeah.
want to make herself open to the possibility. So, but
Mm.
very very good. Very it was very very good. Um Real quick, on Netflix is something called Department Q. I don't know what it is. I have an affinity for um movies that aren't necessarily American. And this is one of those. It's based on an actual story. I forgot a book, an actual book. Forgot what the name of the book was, but it's very interesting because in the first episode, literally in the first scene, first few moments of the show, um, one of the main characters he's a police officer, and him and his partner show up to the scene of a man who had been stabbed in the head with a knife, and the guy is still sitting in a chair with the knife sticking out of his head, and a uniform officer is there, and they're all talking, and the main character, he's an asshole, he's a dick, and he tells the uniform officer, go out and find out, ask people what they know, what they've seen, whatever whatever. Just as the uniform officer turns to leave the house, all three of them get shot. The uniform officer gets shot first, kills him. The second shot goes through um, one officer into, and then into and out of the neck of the second officer. So he's got this wound in and out of his neck. That first officer, not the uniform officer, but the detective, when he gets shot a second time, he ends up paralyzed or partially paralyzed. When the episode continues, the one who got shot through the neck, he goes back to work, and you find out he's an absolute dick. Nobody likes working with him, and the captain or whatever her title is, she's talking to the higher ups, and they're like, hey, we've got these cases, these cold cases that we need to get worked on. Somebody's got to look into them or whatever. We'll give you money to make it happen. So they're promising her a shit ton of money to look into the cold cases. She sees this as an opportunity to pour money into her department and put as
Mm.
little money as possible into um, this other team. And as it turns out, the other team for Department Q, because that's what it's called, Department Q, the other team is that one detective who got shot in the neck because he's an asshole. Nobody wants to work with him. They're all sort of creeped out by what happened. And he, long story short, he gets this unconventional assistant who's an IT guy from the Middle East. He's Muslim, so he's praying, and all the times that they pray, and it's a very he's a curmudgeon, right? So like he's always in a shitty mood, but I'm fascinated because his story is of him being an asshole. The cold case that they end up investigating is for a prosecutor who's also an asshole. It's this female. She's also an asshole. Turns out, and they thought like she's disappears off of a ferry, and her disabled brother, who got disabled because he got beat to a pulp when he was younger, so his brain doesn't act right. But
Mm.
turns out she was kidnapped off the ferry. She was previously stalked, and gets kidnapped off the ferry. And then when you find out that she's been kidnapped, you see she's in this giant submarine looking capsule, and she's being tortured mentally, physically, emotionally tortured. And they keep asking her, why are you here? Why are you here? And I'm asking myself, what the fuck are you asking her? Why is she here for? You kidnapped her. Why is she here? And every time they ask her that question, she's busy making up what she thinks is why she's there. And they're like, nope, that's not why. And then, I don't know. It's a very weird show. And I can't stop watching it. Can't stop watching it. But it's very weird. Because I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, Department Q. I highly, 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 highly recommend it. Because every time you think you don't want to watch it anymore, something happens. All right, I'm gonna just watch the rest of the end of this end of this episode. Yeah, that. So, yeah.
And it's about that time.
But
it is about that time.
Yeah,
it is about that time.
So I got to pull out the pink boxes. Is that what you're telling me? Well, first
no.
The show promo.
Show promo first.
Yep.
You give Casey a couple weeks off, and she just forgets everything. Make sure you keep it locked right here on EXXXOTICA.tv for BoobTube every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you follow EXXXOTICA on all social media platforms and subscribe to our channel so that you can see our shows every Wednesday. And every time we hear this, we think, can we ask Jay to take that audio out?
Give us a new one.
Or at least give us a new one.
Too long.
What? Why dolphins?
That part.
Make sure you.
Oh, no, whatever. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
June 27th to the 29th in beautiful Miami, Florida. You can go to EXXXOTICA. October 24th to the 26th, EXXXOTICA's in Edison, New Jersey, and December 5th to the 7th in my backyard, Washington, D.C. Ladies Free Friday. Go to the website and sign up for your Ladies Free Friday ticket. And if you're interested in vendor or being an exhibitor, you can go to EXXXOTICAexpo.com under exhibitor information. And we would love to see you at one or all of the shows. Now it's time for our pink boxes. Although we will not be showing what you think a pink box is, we do have pink boxes. Pink box. It is. Make sure you're following us on social media. We love when you guys tweet us, comment on our Instagram posts or TikTok or whatever it is. So if you find us on social media, we would love to know that you came from BoobTube. So let us know in the comments, either here on YouTube or whatever social media platform you may find us. Let us know you saw us on BoobTube on EXXXOTICA.tv. And of course, you can let us know in the chat next week when do we have a show next week? Yeah, we do. We do. I'll be in Okefenokee, Oklahoma. But I will be on BoobTube because,
All right.
It is what it is. It ain't a Miami vacation. But it's, it's Okefenokee, Oklahoma. But we will see you guys next week. So keep it locked right here on EXXXOTICA.tv. Back to you, Casey.
Peace out, y'all.
Same time, same time.